3. Hello. This is a hello out there. And anyone hear me? Hopefully there's hopefully the sound on this is okay. Just let me know. So I wasn't sure if I needed to go live today, but or I was hey, is this so 2 quick questions for the audience. If anyone's there. The first oh, thank you, Matt W, for being the first. First, does the screen look normal to you, or is it inverted or flipped? Can you read the text? Is everything okay? Sound is good. Text looks okay. It's not like mirrored or anything weird. Sound is good. Thank you, Tony. Good evening. Okay, sound good. It's all good. Okay, great. Thank you. So I wasn't sure I wanted to go live today because we actually because of this, right? I conducted a poll over here. I asked you guys, hey, do you guys want me to go live? And you guys said yes. So here I am. But really, what happened was that I was planning to go live, but I heard about the John Berta Twitter Spaces thing. I listened to that. It was really good. It was. If you haven't heard that, I highly recommend everyone check that out. He answers just about every question I could have imagined. So that's why I said, hey, he did such a great job. There's no point me going live almost. But if you want me to go live, I'll go live. So also looking for moderators here. Oh, good. We have some previous moderators here who are great. So terrific. Excellent. So I'm going to switch from top chat to live chat. So we'll see all the chats going on. Looks good. Great. So a couple things. So fortunately, I have an agenda. So we are getting close to 100 days since Finra did the U3 halt against MMTLP. And I was thinking about taking stock and seeing, what have we done? What has Finra done? All that. Turned out we've done a lot. Finra hasn't done too much, though. But we've learned a lot, too, right? We got a shareholder count estimate, thanks to Russ Race. Big shout out there. And that says to me that there's anywhere between 300 million to a billion short shares, maybe more than a billion, possibly. But more than likely, at least 300 million short shares, so that's a fair amount. Only 165 million shares were issued. So clearly we know that the short interest is huge, right? So we know that. That's one of the first things we learned. The other thing that we learned is who Finra, well, one of the first things we learned was who Finra was actually colluding with or protecting. Apparently they're protecting GTS and Ari Rubenstein. They come up later on. There have been now, we saw recently from recent tweets that the brokers, or at least one or more brokers, had a plan to close. We know Interactive Brokers did because of an email that they sent to someone who was short or who had a short position in MMTLP. And they said, hey, look, we're gonna close out your position by the 12th if you don't close it out yourself. So the brokers at least knew what they had to do, or they had an idea of what they had to do. So why didn't Finra know what they had to do? Right? The brokers knew what was going on. Now, there were 3 lawsuits that are actually out there pending against Finra. So we've done a lot there, right? Thank you, Rosa. Thank you, Richard Hoffman. And thank you, Elaine Hensley. Okay. That's not to mention that we have the flamethrower thing going on. So thank you, John Berta, and the other Torchlight OGs that are funding flamethrower, right? And flamethrower is actually gotten together with Share Intel, and they're conducting a statistical search, and they're doing actually they're adding up all the raw numbers that are hidden from you and me being a shareholder. They're actually seeing what the actual numbers are for in terms of short interest, right? They're calculating the whole thing out. And once they have that, Wes Christian and the Christian Levine group are gonna slap Finra with a great big lawsuit, and at the very least do discovery. And discovery itself is a huge thing there. So, thank you for the shirt, but thank you for the comment about the shirt. It's really nice. We also have We also have seen that the brokers, they don't necessarily want to sacrifice themselves in for the short interests. They have maintained these placeholder CUSIP numbers so they can keep track of who the short sellers are. So if trading ever reopened up, if these lawsuits ever went forward correctly, if Finra was forced to do the right thing, right, then at that point they have the information to have the shorts close the position so that they would not be held liable for all of these fraudulent shares. And the reason I say fraudulent shares is that Finra turned all the short shares into counterfeit fraudulent shares. And I've been saying that for every single video that I make. And I will continue saying that for every single video that I make. And not only that, I am now prefacing that with the fact that the U.S. stock market is corrupt, and an example of the corruption is Finra and the U3 Halt. So anyone who listens to my videos from now and in the future will understand that the U.S. stock market is corrupt, and a prime example of the corruption is Finra. So just look and see what Finra did, right? Now, not only that, we have CEO block that has also come together thanks to various CEOs, including John Berta and who was it? Roger James Hamilton. So he got together, and also, of course, what is it? Ham Short Killer, right? Ham Short Killer. I think all of those guys got together. They formed CEO block, and Jeremy Frommer's there, and all whatnot. So a bunch of CEOs got together. They're sharing information about the manipulative short selling that's going on, and they're discussing various strategies and coming to terms with what is an effective strategy. Once one strategy is determined to be effective, it will be promulgated across all those CEOs. Now, a lot of you in the audience and a lot of you who have been with, who understand what's going on, have also demonstrated at the SEC HQ in DC and across the United States in their various branch offices. And of course, there is the Finra fraud campaign that's been going on. So a lot of people, so that has gotten more popularity than Finra itself. So that means a lot of times when people search for Finra, they get Finra fraud, and they might be curious as to what's going on there. So that's good news there. What else have we done? Again, because we've done so much, I think it's a good idea to take stock and see what we've done, right? We've made Congress aware of Finra's actions. Thank you for all the letter writing that you've done. Thank you for all the people who've contacted congressmen, meaning House of Representatives and senators. So the House is interested, and because the United States wants to be held as the bastion it wants to be held as the safe place to bring your money, because we're not going to have fraud and corruption here. But if Finra is going around saying, "Hey, we're going to have fraud and corruption in the stock market just to help our short hedge fund buddies," then that kind of ruins that narrative. Okay. Anyway, Finra has issued an FAQ today, but I don't think it was in response to us. I don't think it was for us. I think it was for them to tell whoever is giving them pressure, and I think it's congressional pressure is coming down. Finra wants to say something like, "Hey, we are informing the public of everything that's going on. This is not we're not doing nothing here." Well, they are actually not doing nothing, because that's double negative. So that means they're doing absolutely nothing. But in either case, they are, I don't think they issued this FAQ in response to us. I think they issued it in response to pressure that they're getting from Congress. And I'm told that there are something like a few agencies that are very interested in investigating them for fraud, including the FBI, possibly the SEC, who knows? People are starting to investigate Finra. And Finra employees, you will not be protected for fraud by Finra. If you break U.S. laws, then you can be prosecuted. But the good thing is, if you are a Finra employee and you know what's going on, you can also blow the whistle, in which case you will be immune from prosecution. Not only will you be immune from prosecution, you might make a few $1 million off the bat from actually turning in your, from actually turning in these people who've committed fraud. So go for it. Anyway, the MMTLP family, which is, basically is the MMAT family, but the MMTLP family, I'm just saying, has been educating the public about just how corrupt the U.S. financial markets are. We see MMTLP Studios is out there. They made a great video which talked about, the effects of the U3 halt on various people. It's an excellent video. And the longer FINRA's actions remain uncorrected, unfixed, more people will become aware of just how corrupt these U.S. financial markets are. And is that what they actually want? Is that what Congress wants? Do they want people not to invest in the stock market? So, and the reason I keep saying the U.S. financial market is corrupt is because we have a regulator, FINRA, that's there to protect the interests of retail, but instead they're protecting the interests of hedge funds against retail, against 65,000 retail shareholders, right? That's obviously that's obviously what they're doing. The stock market is run by a group of people you cannot name. Yeah, stock market. Yeah, there you go. Lick your lips again. That was cute. Okay, can I come over again today? Okay, we'll see. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so in response, responding to FINRA and the SEC, you guys have all been tweeting, and you guys have all been responding to FINRA. You've been making people on social media aware of what's going on. You've been raising awareness, not just among you and me, but you've been raising awareness among FINRA's subscriber base. There's not that many people that are subscribing to FINRA, but the important people are. And when those people who are subscribing to FINRA to try to get information from FINRA, they continually see responses to FINRA that says, "Hey, FINRA, you're doing fraud, you're doing collusion, you're corrupt. What's going on? Have you fixed the problem with MMTLP?" People will start to ask the question, what is MMTLP? Financial advisors will say, you may want to watch out because if you win too big, you got this organization called FINRA, which could be corrupt, and they've been, their corruption has been documented, and it's ongoing right now in the form of the U3 halt of MMTLP. People are becoming aware of that, right? And people are saying, do I want to have my money in the stock market? Is FINRA, what's going on with that? It's pretty corrupt there. Anyway, finally, one of the things that I discovered is GTS, who is one of the main market makers who naked shorted MMTLP. They've also been named in a lawsuit for spoofing and stock manipulation, but not necessarily for MMTLP, but for the stock symbol GTII. And GTII is a stock I came across because of Ham Short Killer and what FINRA did with the U3 halt. And thank you, John Berta, for getting together with Ham Short Killer and spreading the information. But it turns out that the same actors who have shorted MMTLP, they have been shorting other stocks naturally. MMTLP is not the only stock that they have naked shorted. They've been shorting GTII. So in a sense, I'm kind of pretty happy that I bought some GTII stock because I kind of am pissed off at these naked short sellers, and I'd want to take it to them. Quite frankly, that's just me personally. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This information is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. In case I didn't say that earlier, I'm repeating it again. None of what I say here is financial advice. None of it is all of it is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. There you go. I even put a big banner about that across the bottom of the screen, so hopefully you guys can see that. Next, what else is going on here? We also have, let's go to the next screen. So I keep a list of stuff because there's so much stuff that we've done, and I don't want to forget any of it. But what has this FINRA FAQ actually disclosed about FINRA or confirmed? Okay. The first thing I see is that we were 99% sure that there were short positions going into NextBridge hydrocarbons. Well, FINRA just confirmed it. I'm now 100% sure because FINRA just says there are short positions in MMTLP. And FINRA has now said that there are short positions in NextBridge hydrocarbons, which is a private company, which should not exist But FINRA is seeming to say that, hey, it's okay to have short positions in a private company. Those MMTLP short positions, they just became short positions in, next for hydrocarbons, and move on with that. So that's not the case, really. Just because you don't, just because you don't like a company, you can't go off and run a short position into that company. You can't short a private company. Just because you had a short position before, and the fact that it gets rolled over is incorrect. That short position should have been closed out. Because now the result of that short position is that there are fraudulent counterfeit shares out there, right? There are only 165 million shares of export hydrocarbons that have been issued. Therefore, if there are short positions still in existence, that means that there are IOUs for those shares in brokerage houses. That means brokers don't have enough shares to provide to shareholders, right? Because only 165 million shares have been issued. And so we now know that FINRA is responsible for creating fraudulent counterfeit shares, because a short share in a private company is a fraudulent counterfeit share by definition. Okay. Now, we also know that FINRA is afraid of being seen to be doing nothing in front of congressional questions. Now, that implies to me that Congress is asking questions to FINRA. Okay. That means to me that FINRA, it wants to be on the record as being seen to be doing something, or at least trying to explain things in a way, But the fact that they took, 5,000 words or longer to try to explain, but in some sort of obtuse, confusing way, what's going on, when in reality they could have solved the situation very simply by what's called going to position close only, right? If they issued a note to brokers or a directive to brokers or corporate action to brokers, go to position close only, that means that if you're long, you bought shares before, those shares are already settled, and you can sell those shares to shorts who have sold shares that they do not own. Right? So those people, because they've sold fraudulent counterfeit shares, they need to buy back their shares in order to make those fraudulent counterfeit shares go away. So the shorts need to buy back those shares, right, to prevent dilution. And we know that Nextbridge Hydrocarbons has been diluted at this point. And we know that FINRA is afraid of being the source of the dilution, and they are the source of the dilution. Okay. So anyway, I believe FINRA knows that they're in trouble, quote unquote, in trouble with certain people or entities who matter to them. That's not necessarily you or me, because if you or I complain to FINRA, they say, oh, just contact the FINRA ombudsman and he will take care of everything. And, you'll write out your complaint to the FINRA ombudsman and it will go into the black hole where it will never be seen again. But they actually are worried right now, I believe. And so I think that we're making good progress here. And they're worried that Congress can actually direct the SEC, because Congress is in charge of the SEC, to investigate corruption in FINRA. They're worried that Congress can tell FINRA what to do, right? Because Congress can tell the SEC, hey, look, SEC, tell FINRA to give back the 2 days of trading. Tell FINRA to roll back time. Tell FINRA to force the shorts to go to close their positions, and tell FINRA to issue a directive to brokers to go to position close only, right? They're afraid of that. Why are they afraid of that? Because it's a simple thing for them to do. They haven't done it, and it shows that they are colluding with their short hedge fund buddies, which is criminal. And that is, collusion with your short hedge fund buddies, that is not considered to be a regulatory activity. So if you're doing that, you're not being a regulator, and that's illegal. So you can go to jail for that, FINRA. Colluding with your hedge fund buddies is called stock manipulation, in other words, okay? But, FINRA, because they're afraid of that, they're afraid of these investigations that will open up the books. They're more afraid of being proven to be colluding than they are about taking care of their broker dealers, right? The broker dealers are now in the position that they have to, find a way to take 165 million shares and provide 1-for-1 share to 300 million to 1 billion people who own 300 million to 1 billion, maybe more than 1 billion shares. How do you do that in a 1-for-1 basis? You can't. You're screwed, right? So as a result, Finra is Finra is basically saying, hey, we're going to throw our broker dealers under the bus at this point. And so the broker dealers need to be aware of that, right? So they need to know that they're being thrown under the bus and that Finra considers them expendable. But the thing is, the broker dealers are also what pays for Finra's activities. They fund Finra's activities. Okay. So what this means is if they're willing to sacrifice their broker dealers, this goes up to very high levels within Finra. This is not just one little tiny Finra clerk that's colluding with Ari Rubenstein and of GTS Securities to make sure that he's okay. No, if it was one little tiny clerk, it would have been solved a long time ago. We know now that this is going up to the highest levels of Finra because why would it last so long, right? If it was a mistake made, if it was collusion by a low-level clerk, Finra would probably say, hey, look, we had a low-level clerk that was colluding. We took care of it. He's gone to, he's been prosecuted, whatever. But because it's going up to the highest levels of Finra, most likely, then they're trying to cover their asses. CYA at this point, okay? That's what I'm thinking. This is not just some low-level clerk at Finra causing problems. And the last thing is we know what they want now. Cromwell Coulson of the OTC Markets and Finra seem to both confirm that what they want is to reopen up trading in MMTLP forever. That's what they're looking for. And as a result, snap, you're late. Don't worry about being late, Daphne. It's okay. You can watch it again later. Anyway, we know that what Finra wants is they want to open up trading in MMTLP forever because those short positions still exist in NextBridge hydrocarbons, and they want to maintain those short positions and not ever have to close out their short positions. And that's what they're shooting for. And so now we understand. We know what's going on. So there we go. Yeah. So I have this to say, right? It's been close to 100 days. So it hasn't been 100 plus days yet, but it's getting close to 100 days. After it's been 100 days, or even before it's been 100 days, we can tell Finra, hey, look, it's been a long time. It's been over 90 days, close to 100 days now. All the shares should be settled at this point, right? Can't we have a reconciliation? I mean, can't we have an accounting of how many short shares there currently were in existence of MMTLP? Can you tell us that? Let us know. Because surely this number can't harm anybody, right? Because after all, this information it's over 100 days old, right? Can't we know? I don't think they'll tell us that because it will prove how corrupt they are. It will prove their collusion. Anyway, as retail, I would still ask for it. I don't think that they will ever provide it, but I will ask for it. And if you're a congressman, that's a good question to ask Finra, right? How many short shares are there currently in existence? Because the stock is not trading right now. We should easily be able to tell how many short shares. The stock was frozen. Come on, Finra, give us an answer. We'd like an answer. Oh, man. Anyway, I was pissed off today with Finra, when Finra announced their FAQ, because I've started to read this and I said, what is this load of malarkey? Then I realized, the FAQ isn't for me. It's not for you. It's not for retail. It's not to actually answer frequently asked questions. It's a CYA to Congress or whoever's applying pressure to them because they suddenly can't be seen to be doing nothing. That's what they're doing. Jeez. Anyway, that's one question I have for Finra. Let's see what else. And broker dealers. Okay, this is especially important to broker dealers. Not all broker dealers are also market makers. Some broker dealers were market makers and have naked short positions. Other broker dealers were just broker dealers for short hedge funds who took short positions. Okay, the broker dealers who were just broker dealers for short hedge funds, they're being thrown under the bus right now, along with the broker dealers who were market makers, right? And you guys are paying Finra dues. Maybe because Finra has been shown to be corrupt. Maybe because they've been shown to be, throwing you under the bus. Do you really think, maybe it's time for Finra to, to self-destruct? Maybe it's time to wipe the slate clean and do something brand new, right? Maybe you don't need the people of Finra. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind. So with that, I think that's about it as far as stuff I wanted to say. That's about it as far as anything I was going to say. So that's why I figured, hey, look, you guys got all the info from the John Burtis space chat, so you don't need me to tell you all this. But a lot of people responded back and said, hey, we'd like you to do a live stream. So there you go. Here you go. I intend to die on this hill. Okay. If there is nothing else I do in my life but complain about this U3 halt and talk about the corruption of Finra, I will die a happy person as long as I will make people aware of this crap. And if any of this stuff ever works and we solve the MMTLP problem and the what is going on here? If this actually works and we solve the MMTLP problem and we're okay, then at that point I can say that I can die a happy person. Anyway, because 65,000, I will have been a part of helping 65,000 people, and that's all I can hope for in life. Jeez. Anyway, so let's go to live chat and see what's going on. Hello, Herban Slayer. Thanks, Tony. What if these brokers file bankruptcy because of MMTLP? Are we still able to take the money back? Yes, we are. There's a thing called the DTCC, and the DTCC has an insurance policy of a little over $1 trillion or more. I forget exactly how much it was, but that will cover this without a problem. They have more than enough money. We also know that short hedge funds have enough money to cover this. We also know, because we know also. So I didn't know this at first, but because I didn't know how bad the short hedge fund problem was, I figured it was, bad, but not too bad. Apparently, the number of shorts in the U.S. Stock market is equal to the size of the U.S. stock market. That means every single stock in the market has been the equivalent of shorted into oblivion. How can you sell as many shorts? How can you sell as many stocks short as the number of stocks that actually exist? The number is $30 trillion for shorts per year. That's the size of the U.S. stock market. Okay, that's freaking insane. Okay, that is freaking insane. So, short hedge funds have more money than you can imagine, and so if they go bankrupt, they can have their assets seized one way or another. Now, we all know that, Ken Griffin bought a big house for $100 million in Florida because, we can't seize that $100 million house. You can seize everything else. And there's a lot we can seize. There's a lot that can be seized. Okay. So, I am not worried about getting paid. Not a problem. Chinaman, those big no scumbags will never give your money. Oh, okay. Well, they are scumbags. They will try, and they can have all of their assets frozen. And of course, they can be sent to jail. So I am fully confident that there is enough money out there in the system. Tony, I was waiting in another stream you had up. Oh, sorry about that, Greg Mathis. I did not mean to do that. I hope I have not confused anyone. God, I love you, man. DR Unit says, God, I love you, man. Everything beforehand was financial advice. I hope you, nothing I say is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I don't know anything. You're just talking to some guy in a Hawaiian shirt, okay? You're a good man, Tony. Thank you, Daphne. Thank you. You're a good person, Daphne. And what you do is more than I can imagine. You attend you attend so many of these streams, and you bring people together. Thank you, Daphne, for all you do. Terry Yonkers, hey, we need you, buddy. 100%. Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. Terry was the first person to put me into a live stream, and so he found a way to find me on Twitter, and because I'm relatively difficult to get a hold of, even if you know who I am and all that, it's pretty hard to get a hold of me. But Terry did find a way to get a hold of me, and we did a live stream together. So thank you, Terry. There's no hacks in the system, I heard. Daphne says, "Oh, you're welcome." Oh, thank you, Daphne. Okay. Greg Mathis, Terry. Hey, Terry, love you, man. Yeah, we do love Terry. Terry's been in this since the start. The great thing about Terry is that he talks about this every single day, and yeah, love you, Terry. So everyone says, oh, okay. Big Nig says, I'm a good man, Tony. Appreciate the work. Oh, thank you, Big Nig. And Ali Papa says, hello, Tony. Thank you for everything you're doing. You're welcome. I'm doing it basically because somebody's got to do it. And it just drives me batty, to be honest. I mean, the level of crap that goes on, it's just psycho. Anyway, yeah, there you go. So that is what I had to say. So let's go back to a couple of these things. So one of the things I found out is about, let me go back, let's go back to one of these. One of the things we found out is about GTS. GTS has been named in the lawsuit by Wes Christensen, or Wes Christian. I keep mispronouncing his name. I'm sorry. The lawsuit by Wes Christian against Alpine Securities and various other named defendants, and GTS was in the other named defendants, right? So it turns out that these same actors are now. Wes Christian is also, of course, he's representing Flamethrower, and he's part of the investigations. And so it turns out that a lot of these same players are in there, and there's discovery that's happening for the GTI lawsuit, right? I mean, that will happen because once we get discovery blows the doors wide open, and I don't think they want discovery. I think they want to go out of their way to avoid discovery. So that's a big deal. Any of those 3 lawsuits that are out there directly against MMTLP, those are all good as well too. So I did a video a while back, said, hey, look, the odds are on our side. It just takes one of those lawsuits and one of those actions to move forward, and then the whole thing blows wide open, because at that point, once you have a situation exposed where you have raw information out there that exposes the fact that Finra is colluding with a short hedge fund, that there has been collusion going on along the way, that can't exist anymore. Not in a corruption-free market. That can't exist anymore in an environment that you want people to know that the market is free of corruption. You want people to know that the market is honest. Once you've discovered dishonesty, you have to rout it out, right? You have to. Otherwise, you're exposed as being corrupt yourself if you do nothing. So therefore, Congress and the SEC have to take action. Not only that, whoever is responsible for corruption on the Finra side, that person's not going to be able to work ever in the financial industry the rest of their life. They may, whether or not there's jail time, they're never going to be able to work in the financial industry the rest of their life once we know who they are, because that'll be, who wants to hire a fraudster? Nobody. So that person's career is gone, and the question is, who are they going to have be the fall guy? We know of Ari Rubinstein, right? But there's probably others. So if there's there's a multi-million-dollar whistleblower award that the SEC has. So if anyone at Finra wants to make a bunch of money, or because you have a choice if you're at Finra, right? You can either make a bunch of money by being a whistleblower, or you can hope and pray that whoever's at Finra might throw you a golden parachute to keep your mouth shut, right? That's what you're looking for. But chances are, if they go down, they're going to take you down with them. So you might as well just, go whistleblower, because you make some money, You get to keep working in the financial industry, and in fact, the SEC is going to protect your name from whistleblower status. They're not going to tell everyone this guy's a whistleblower, or this girl's a whistleblower. So it's perfectly fine to be a whistleblower. Just expose the corruption and move on. It can't hurt. Can only help you, man. So possibly 2 days trading next week. Who knows? Cable says, "Oh snap, live stream." Yep, I started. Sorry about that, Cable. I'm still getting a hang of this live stream stuff. And what's going on, Big Nick? I love the golden parachute. Yeah, I'm sure that's what's being talked about, right? It's like, don't go with the SEC whistleblower status. Go with the golden parachute that will take care of you if you keep your mouth shut about the corruption. But quite frankly, it just takes one person to open their mouth about the corruption and it blows wide open. Then whoever's offering you the golden parachute, chances are they're going down. And when they go down, they're going to take you with them. So better whistleblow first, right? Save your ass from jail. Whistleblow. If you whistleblow, you make some money and you save your ass from jail, and you won't go down with whoever's going to go down with you. Whoever wants to take you down with them. They're like crabs out there, in a pot of boiling water. The fact of the matter is, the crabs will just, they pull each other down. That's what those guys are going to do. Pull yourself up. Just if you're at Finra, whistleblow, go for it, because whistleblow is your get out of jail free card, and you make millions of dollars, so you'll be good. You'll be good if you do that. So just FYI. And as I said, it's one way or another, the guys who are trying to offer you with a golden parachute, they're not going to have any money. Because it's not just MMTLP, it's GTII as well, too. They shorted the crap out of GTII with spoofing and manipulation and all that. And if you looked at the West Christian lawsuit that's filed about that, it's very detailed. It goes into specific instances of spoofing. You got to prove, he's already proven that spoofing takes place. They got to go out and disprove him. That's enough for a friggin' discovery. So if you're on if you know about what's going on with MMTLP, that's those same actors shorted the crap out of GTII. When the GTII lawsuit goes down, that company's going to go down. They're not going to have any money to pay for your golden parachute. Your golden parachute is going to be, it's going to be riddled with bullet holes, or it's going to be riddled with shotgun holes or whatever. You're not going to have a parachute. That parachute's going away. It ain't going to exist, dude. So just FYI. Finra's statement today brought very good news. Tony will share more soon. Finra's statement today just pissed me off because I knew it wasn't directed towards. It's not an FAQ. It's not a frequently asked questions between you and me. It's a cover Finra's ask situation there. It's a CYA situation. Finra's trying to say, hey, we let everyone know about it. And they repeated the same freaking confusing story over and over and over again. And it takes thousands of words for them to describe their situation. It takes 2 slides to describe the situation, right? I showed it takes 2 slides to describe the situation. One, there's short shares out there, and those short shares result in fraudulent counterfeit shares. That means that you can never have resolution you can never have distribution of the next rich hydrocarbons shares until those short shares are reconciled. Okay. So how does Finra solve that? Finra says, oh no, we have to worry about all this stuff about settlement. No, you don't. No, you don't have to worry about any crap about settlement, Finra. Okay, because you go to position close only for 2 days. What does position close only do? And you know this, by the way. I'm not a friggin' genius who came up with this. You guys, brokers came up with this hundreds of years ago. Well, not hundreds of years ago. Brokers came up with this a long, long time ago, okay? You go to position close only. What does position close only mean? It means if you're a long, your shares that you own, they've already been settled. So if you're long, your shares have been settled already. If you're a short, your shares you have an open short position. If you go to position close only, that means that those shorts have to close their short position. They can only buy from longs, right? Shorts buy to close because they sold things that didn't exist. and they have to buy to make that back up. They've sold before they bought. So they sold something they didn't have. They got to buy afterwards to make that back up. The only place that they can buy from is a long, because you go to position close only. That means only longs with settled shares can close their positions. Okay, it's very simple. When that happens, there's no settlement problems, dude. There's no settlement problems. Instead, Finra's going, let's look at these days and let's recalculate all these days back and forth. And you don't got to do any of that. The SEC said you didn't have to do any of that because they looked at the S1 and they said, hey, look, it's fine. We approved the S1. They approved it before Thanksgiving and after Thanksgiving. It was effective. It was there. Okay. FINRA had weeks and weeks to issue 2 directives that is exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to tell brokers to go to position close only for the last 2 trading days. And they give a directive that shorts have to close all of their open positions. Right? Shorts have to close their positions on the last day, or it will be closed for them. But because they were colluding with Ari Rubenstein and GTS, that didn't happen. They're like, Ari was probably telling them, hey, look, my GTS firm, we're going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, maybe billions of dollars, because woohoo, we're going to lose money. Can't you do some corruption for us to try to prevent us from losing money? Maybe do a U3 halt. And Finra says, okay, fine, we'll do a U3 halt. No one will notice. Well, 65,000 friggin' shareholders notice FINRA, and we're telling Congress. We're telling Congress, we're telling anyone who's going to listen to us. Okay? The friggin' U.S. markets are corrupt. I don't think Congress wants to spread the word that the U.S. stock market is corrupt. I don't think, think about why you exist, FINRA. FINRA, you exist because you're there to promote the U.S. stock market, okay? You're there to show the world that the U.S. stock market is the most fair and free and corruption-free market in the world. Instead, you're showing the world that the U.S. stock market is freaking corrupt, and we are highlighting that message, right? So Congress has to listen to that message because it's true. They don't want that message to be true. They want the U.S. stock market to be the strongest in the world. And as a result, they want it, that's the whole reason for your existence, FINRA. You're there to promote the U.S. stock market, and you do not at this point in time. You're telling the world that the U.S. stock market is full of corruption, and you are the source of it. Oh, man. FINRA record date errors were very unfortunate stuff. Happens. Oh, yeah. FINRA also said a bunch of interesting things. They said, hey, look, we had some computer problems. FINRA can't program our computers, and we had computer problems. The problems only happened with stock symbol MMTLP, by the way, in the form of, we had some backdating problems. That was a problem. It shouldn't have happened. The backdate was a computer accident. Also, the fact that we were on the OTC threshold list, that was a computer glitch problem. For 41 days, we were on the OTC threshold list. That shouldn't have happened. There was a glitch in the system for 41 days. What the frick? So you're either incompetent or you're corrupt or you're a bit of both. And quite frankly, I think it's just like in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a bit of both, FINRA. It's a bit of both. Oh, man. Jeez. Anyway, so, your days of corruption are coming to an end because your short hedge fund buddies' days are coming to a close. GTS is going to be in a deep trouble very soon, if they're not already. Yeah. So I don't really wish bad things on people, but I wish that GTS will get what it deserves, and I wish that the people at FINRA who did whatever they did will get what they deserve. So there you go. That's all I have to say. What else is going on here? Let's see. Let's read some chats. Thank you for deleting whatever messages need to be. I'm not sure about deleting Cable's message, Big Nig. Let's view this deleted message and see what's going on. Why do I please do not delete Cable's message. Cable, I'm going to make you a moderator or something like that. Unhide you. Go to channel. I don't know. What can I do about this? I don't know. Can a moderator undelete Cable's messages? I don't know why Cable's messages are being deleted or Terry Yonkers' messages are being deleted. So what's going on? Big Nig, you are deleting too many messages, I think. Okay, Big Nig, I think I'm seeing them all. I think I'm seeing them all. Do you have it set to live chat instead of top chat cable? So something's going on, and cable's messages are being deleted. Please undelete people's messages, like because yeah, something's going on there. Let's see. I think I'm seeing them. Daphne says, I think I'm seeing them all. Do you have it set to live chat instead of top chat at cable? Okay. I have it set to that. Could be another glitch in the system. If YK, if you know, you know. Okay, tired of these bankers. Okay, why are, yeah, people, there's too many deleted messages over here. Someone's deleting messages. So please do not, so whoever is deleting messages, either this is some kind of weird corruption that's going on in the system. Someone's gotten, gotten to the point that they're trying to delete messages and interfere with what's going on. Or I think you can take this as a sign that there's some sort of crap going on. Man. So, someone says, I will get to work. Sorry, boss. Okay. I would guess it's the other way. Tony, I want to be a millionaire soon. Please talk to some. Please talk to some so they can hurry up. Okay. Please talk to someone. We all want to do well. We all want to do well. I agree. And the situation has to be resolved, quite frankly. MMTLP, if this situation goes on and on and on longer, the longer it goes on and on and on, the more word gets out about how corrupt the U.S. stock market is. Is that what Congress wants? Is that what the SEC wants, right? Already we're seeing, ministers in Europe saying the U.S. markets are corrupt. Look at what they did with SVB, right? Silicon Valley Bank. What their complaint is that FDIC only provides up to $250,000 worth of insurance, and there were entities in there that had large amounts of money in there, much more than $250,000. These are not retail investors. These are companies, and who've decided to put, who've decided to funnel money through SVB, Silicon Valley Bank. And because they have hundreds of millions or tens of millions of dollars, or $1 billion in Silicon Valley Bank, they will be made whole, right? They will be made whole because every single depositor will be made whole, right? But quite frankly, if you have $1 billion, you should look hard at the banks that you would be using and do your due diligence. Make sure that they will not steal from you. Make sure that they are not about to go bankrupt. And you might want to spread your money out among a variety of different banks. And if you did not, that's your own lookout, right? FDIC is not meant to protect billionaires. FDIC is meant to protect the small investor, right? The small, the everyday retail person, right? That's just the way life is, okay? And if you have more than $250,000 in cash, it's not really meant to protect you. And it didn't really protect other people out there with other banks that failed, that had more than $250,000 cash. Why should the large depositors at SVB get preferential treatment to the large depositors at other banks? Either you increase the limits for everybody, or you say, okay, we're only going to protect up to $250,000. Now, I know why the large depositors at Silicon Valley Bank needed a bailout. And that's exactly what they got. Because I live in Silicon Valley, right? The way Silicon Valley works is a lot of people like to use Silicon Valley Bank in terms of venture capital and small businesses, right? So venture capital funds small businesses. They go through Silicon Valley Bank. SVB was funding a lot of startup companies, or a fair number of startup companies, and a large number of larger venture capitalists and very wealthy individuals and very wealthy entities in Silicon Valley had their money at SVB. Okay. Now, why was SVB invested in these risky securities? They were not risky. SVB was invested in what they were told to invest in by Basel III requirements. And as a result, their they got in trouble, right? They were told to invest in tier one assets, and those tier one assets include treasury bills. And those treasury bills were yielding near 0%. And they did not get out of their 0% treasury bills, even though they were informed that interest rates were going to be rising, right? Probably they couldn't get out of their T-bills once they were informed that interest rates were rising because of all sorts of stuff. Anyway, I don't want to go into that in detail. If you want to know the details of that, check out my last live stream. I think it was on Sunday, where I went into details of SVB and Basel III and all that crap. Okay, Cable, am I back? And you are back, Cable. Okay, good. Okay, it is about 9:20, and my alarm just went off to let me know that I have about 10 minutes left. So let's go and see if there are any questions going on. Oh, I don't know why you were in a timeout, Cable. This whole thing was very strange. Okay. You would see who is deleting messages. It must be a weird glitch. Yeah, there have been a lot of weird glitches that have been going on lately, and it's very strange. Who timed you out? Must be someone I personally blocked last stream who I don't know. No idea. I'd like to make you a moderator, Cable, so that way, let's see. Add as Cable, you're now a managing moderator. So I think that just keeps up. So you'll be a managing moderator and you will not be able to be timed out. How's that? Or you should not be able to be timed out. And Daphne already is a managing moderator. So thank you, Daphne. Really appreciate everything you do, by the way. So let's see. Brendan and Ella's Fun Adventure says, thank you for all you do. Thank you, Brendan and Ella's Adventures. Kind of sure. Bonds, baby. Today's fine though. If you hedge for rates rising, if you hedge for rates rising, yes, that's true. Yeah. Question. So we just wait and do nothing, and if anything good happens, they will give us money for this. Well, no, it's not wait and do nothing. Okay, we have not been waiting and doing nothing. We've been doing all of these things the last 100 days. We've been doing a lot. Okay, we've made Congress aware. We need to keep continuing with the pressure on Congress. We need to keep responding to all of Finra's tweets. We need to, keep making informative videos. I'm making videos to keep you aware of what's going on. We need to just keep spreading the message that the U.S. markets are corrupt until they go off and fix the problem. Fix the problem. Okay. So we do not do nothing. And the longer this goes on, the louder our voices become, and the more obvious it becomes that U.S. markets are corrupt and need to be fixed. Ahmed Teba says, am I back? I hope you are. Sweet, Tony. So my question is, and I don't know what your question is now at this point. So deleted message. Thank you, Tony. It is my pleasure. Oh, thank you, Daphne. Yeah, you've been helpful in a variety of different ways that I can't even imagine. I can't even count. So yeah, so that's basically about it. Any last questions? Anything going on? If not, I'll talk for a little bit longer. Yeah, so if you have not seen John Berta's Twitter Spaces today, check it out. And there's actually a way to download Twitter Spaces audio. It's if you have a Mac, you have to use something called Go, and it will allow you to download Twitter Spaces. And you just type Twitter-C, and then the identity of the Twitter space, and then it'll download that whole audio for you. So you can keep it forever. But most people are not going to bother with that. So I did download John Berta's Twitter Spaces chat because I thought it was really, really informative. Yeah, the questions he got asked are excellent. The moderators there were terrific. They took in all the, they had a lot of great questions. And they also, gave him a lot of suggestions about what to do. So I highly recommend checking out John Berta's Twitter Spaces chat. Let me see if I can find it, and I will put it on screen. Let's see, because it is pretty cool. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely check this out. Look up John Berta Twitter Spaces. Live. Oh, here it is. Let's talk Finra. Okay, this is it. It's from Busy Brands. This is the. Here it is. Wow, that's too big, but we'll make it smaller. This is a thing to look up. Busy Brands. And it's live with John Burdett. Let's talk Finra. Play the recording. It is definitely worth it. Yeah, the first few minutes they're just setting things up as all of these spaces and chats and live streams need to be set up. But yeah, it's a really good talk. I highly recommend it. So, by the way, this is the Finra FAQ. And the Finra FAQ. Oh, by the way, quick shout out and thanks to Bird Lady Roller Pigeons. It was her tweet that immediately popped up on my feed and told me that Finra had an FAQ, and she, said, "This is what WTF are they talking about here? There's nothing new here." But anyway, Finra did do this, so thank you to Bird Lady Roller Pigeons for letting me know about that. Check out her channel; she has everything. She talks a lot about this stuff. She talks about the oil and gas and knows what's going on, and great resource there. But anyway, this was Finra's FAQ. As you could see, it came out today. And they start by saying they've received a number of questions. Oh, geez. So I started reading this crap, basically, because it's a pile of crap. Okay. And first off, they said, why did Finra halt trading in MMTLP? Now, it's kind of interesting. They didn't say immediately that they halted trading because of settlement problems. They said they're permitted under their rules to impose a quoting and trading halt when Finra determines that an extraordinary event, blah, 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 blah. So they said, we are permitted under our rules that we created. We have every right to do this. But they didn't say why they did it, right? It takes a while before you figure out that, oh, gee, it took the second question to find out that, oh, gee, this has to do with, they talk about settlement problems, and then they go on and on about the 2 days of settlement problems. They don't once talk in here about going to position close only, and they don't once talk about the short positions. It takes them a long time. It takes them quite a long time to get to the short position thing, right? And then they finally say, is there public data? Oh, here we go. There are several places over here. They talk about short interest here, and it takes them a long time before they talk about short interest. Then they talk about the difference between short interest data and short volume data. But you know what? When you got short volume and you're not allowed to trade the day after that, what happens to that short volume? Doesn't that short volume immediately become short interest? Okay. So what happened to the 9 million shares on that of short volume on that last day of trading before they halted? Didn't that immediately become short interest? And didn't that immediately become fraudulent counterfeit shares? Because you can't go short into a private company. So then they said, then they talk about it. What happens if short positions in MMTLP were not closed out before Finra halted trading? Oh, this is the biggest pile of crap I've ever read. Okay, here's what happens. Okay, they talk about broker dealers having convention. So here's where they throw the broker dealers under the bus, right? They say broker dealers have operational conventions in place for adjusting short positions following corporate action. It's go talk to the broker dealer. It's not our fault. We don't freaking know what to do. Jeez. Anyway, so someone is saying that the financial industry is an essential part of blah, blah, blah. I'm getting that continually over here, Big Nig. Well, why are you repeating yourself? Why are you going on? Why is that amazing? Big Nig? Are you going through the entire thing? Okay, you can if you want to. Just check out the link if you want. If you want to read this link. Let's see what the link is. Here it is. Here is the link. The link is www.finra.org, Investors Insight FAQ-MMTLP- corporate action and trading halt. Okay. And for some reason, Big Nig, you are on auto repeat, and it's repeating the same thing you're saying all the time. Maybe, I'm not sure what's going on here. Big Nig, you are saying the same exact thing over and over. I think you're. I'm going to have to. Yeah. Okay. Have you stopped doing this? Okay. If you don't. Okay. Since you're repeating the same thing, Big Nig, I'm going to put you in a timeout. And for now, I'm going to remove you as a managing moderator, Big Nig. I think, you know, okay, there we go. Uh, no site, it is a bot. It is a bot. Okay. Okay, he is gone. Geez, what the hell's going on here? Okay, so I think we see what happened. Big Nig was the issue here. Thank you. We are now removed as managing moderator. Okay, we have Cable, we have Daphne as managing moderators. Thank you, Daphne. Woo, good thing I checked that. So anyway, so with that, that was the alarm saying it is time to. So we know Big Nig had gotten either, I don't know what the hell happened to him. Either something happened to him. Who knows? Anyway, some sort of issue that was going on with Big Nig being a managing moderator. He's not a managing moderator anymore. Sorry, Big Nig, but you can't go around deleting everyone's messages. And at the same time, yeah. And at the same time, you were having problems. Okay. So that's gone. Big Nig no longer has mod controls, by the way. He is gone. He's been removed as managing moderator. Oh, okay. At least we know that. Anyway, so thank you for tuning into this chat. Hopefully, you guys heard enough, and hopefully, we fixed the managing moderator problems for future live streams. So thank you. And stuff like this happens because I operate on the trust principle, right? You trust someone until they do something really weird or screwy, and then you say, okay, this guy obviously is either incompetent or he's working for the bad guys. I don't know which one. In either case, we can't have him as managing moderator. Sorry, it's one of those two, Big Nig. I'm sorry. But in either case, if I'm wrong, I apologize. Okay, if I'm wrong, I apologize. Anyway, good night. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope this helped. So that's all I can say. I hope this helped, and thanks. And none of this is financial advice, of course. I'm not a financial advisor. This information is, of course, intended for entertainment and educational purposes only. And with that, good night and stream. End.